I want to know what got you guys into fitness and just the whole gym.
Yeah, because I think for me and Charlotte, we've been friends now. How many years have we been friends? Like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So we
about
met
that.
through a mutual friend, but then realised that actually we both really like fitness and it's bonded us closer. So I have been training. I was brought up doing Thai boxing twice a week at G&A. Anyone remember G&A?
Yeah, I do.
You remember my dad?
Old school. That
Tight
is.
Shane. So yeah, I was Thai boxing twice a week there. With Spencer Harris, rest his soul. And then I was doing Dad's Boxercise twice a week. So yeah, I've
And used to break me.
seriously, but from 7-8 years old, I was doing tough sessions, and I think growing up then, I grew up, became a girl, got into boys, my body changed, and I lost my interest. And then once I had my gal, my oldest son, nearly 10 years ago, I just, as a woman, it's a woman thing. You fall out of love with your body and how you look. And I thought, okay, I need to do something. The best thing that happened to me was lockdown. Since lockdown, me and Trey, my brother, went into my dad's shed and I fell in love with squatting, hit my personal best, fell in love with actually strength training. Because I think as a girl, there's that whole stigma that if you strength train, you're going to become very manly. And actually, I lost so much weight through strength training. Then ended up here. So that's my little journey.
For me, my fitness started when I was probably about 11, when I sort of went to secondary school. I got bullied by guys, never by girls, it was always by guys. And
I
then
think Dean should sort them out, innit?
Dean is the bully.
I still bully
He's the
her.
one that bullies me the most. But no, I got bullied by guys. So then I ended up joining the boxing gym that my stepdad's friend owned. Trained there for like probably about 4 to 6 months, and then they were like, "You're really good. Do you want to compete?" And I was like, "Yeah. Do you know what? I love it." So my whole fitness background was boxing, from the age of like 11 up until the age of about 16, 17. Then I had a break, but I always trained, but I didn't compete anymore. And then sort of once I had my kids, then I kind of got into like weight training. And then the boxing's been in and out. I've always boxed, but it's kind of been like phases more than sort of consistent. And then now I'm kind of at like a consistent period where I'm coaching with the boxing. I'm training, never know, I might make appearance in the ring again one day if I can cut a bit of weight. And
Did you win any fights and stuff when you was in the ring?
Yeah. So I had like 11 fights and I won about 8, I
None.
think. no, I won about 8. I box like amateur, so not all this white collar, hoo-ha that Dean does.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Shots fired. No, so for me, like, boxing was like the most important thing growing up for me. It kept me out of trouble. It kept me out of like being on the streets, smoking, drinking, getting in with the wrong crowd. I used to work and then I'd go straight from I used to work in a fish and chip shop, and I'd go straight from like the fish and chip shop to the boxing gym. And like, I know you'll laugh, but at the age of 13, I was a baller. Like, I was earning like 50 quid a week, and
Like going from a chip shop straight to the gym.
yeah.
I do it the
next
other way
question
around now. I'm
is
driving home and going to the chip
definitely
shop.
gonna be about the gym-mix.
No,
Gotta be about the gym-mix.
I'm serious. Like, for me, like as a teenager, like I was like, my head was always just like,
Pablo Escobar.
no, I was on it. I was like work, gym, and I suppose that's kind of my life now. It's work and gym, and that's about it. It's kind of been ingrained in me from a young age, really.
Don't you think it's weird though? You just said what I said. So we trained when we were younger, and then we both had children, and then that's what spurred us again.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that's a thing, like a woman's thing, or because I know there's women, like I work with mums, don't I? Like new mums and stuff, and they probably couldn't think of anything worse than going to the
I think this
gym.
day and age, with social media, I think a lot of females are more interested in the gym now because of how they're looking. If you're scrolling through social media, you see a lot of females in the gym now, and I think a lot of them kind of get the bug and want to have that sort of figure or just have that sort of taste for it. And yeah,
I think it's the health factor as well. I think with COVID as well, like the whole thing with COVID, I don't want to say anything that's too like political, but I think the whole thing with COVID is like, if you was like unhealthy or had any underlying health issues, like you was at risk. And I think a lot of people want to go to the gym to be healthy. So if another pandemic happened, like they're not at risk because obviously they're healthy, and it kind of ticks one box if that makes sense.
But I think mental health as well, because
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
in
yeah.
lockdown,
Yeah,
in lockdown when it first happened, I was scared. Like I went seeing none of my family. I just moved into a new house. So I was on my own with my 2 kids, and if it wasn't for Courtney Black's live videos and Sierra London, like I don't know how I would have got through the day. Like I would have gone into a depression because I'm locked in my house. I've got 2 kids, one of them young. Like that used to keep me sane. Those endorphins would get me through. And I think now, even now when I come to the gym, you know, we're not in lockdown, but life is stressful. Like my work especially, like I have so much heavy weight on me.
What
and
is
I
it
think
that you actually do?
Because I ain't got a clue what this is. Explain
Well.
it, explain.
So I work with families to make sculptures of people's hands and feet, working with end-of-life cases or people that have passed away. So I'll go into the mortuary. Let's just say May, for example, I did 19 memorials. Every single one of them was a suicide. So it's you take on the trauma of that. So for me, I have to look after my mental health. Do you know what I mean? Like it can get deep. And don't get me wrong, I'll share, I'm crying in the car, but I also need to release it. And doing the gym, that's what keeps me going. And I think as mums, you know, whether it's that they're not sleeping or like babies are hard work, they're lovely, but they're really hard work. So I think even just getting out, getting on a walk, doing something active, it's and if it changes their body, then great. But also like they just want that endorphin rush and that little bit of I'm doing something for me to look after me.
I